Hey there, how's it going? Great to see you again. I've got another really cool item to show you from the guys at OBSBOT. They've sent me this new camera. It's called a tail ear, and it comes in this box, which is quite a cool box. But everyone's got cool boxes. As you can see, it's red. It's got a nice little graphic on the front of it. It's got the OBSBOT logo up there, and down on the side it says tail ear. So let's get this thing open. Oh, they sent me another box actually, which is this one here, and it's a cable that works with the tail ear, and I'll show you about that one during the video as well. Okay, let's get this box open and I'll show you what's in here. Okay, right, here's the box and here's what's in it. See, I already took it out. So I've had a bit of a play around with it so that I know what I'm talking about while I'm making the video. Okay, let's have a look what's in here. It's got this neat little zip. I love these cases that come with these cameras. They're just really neat little cases, and they work really, really well to protect what you've got and keep everything together. So here's the camera itself. I'll pull that out in a second. First of all, because I want to make you wait, I'm going to have a look at a couple of cables that come with it. This is obvious stuff. There's this nice long USB-C cable, which is always good because you need to charge it up and plug it into things. It's got a USB-C to A adapter here, also very useful. And one other thing in here that I will fumble and get out, there's a single USB-C to double USB-C adaptery thing here. That's going to be very useful as well. You'll see how all of these are used shortly. And of course the camera itself. So here's the camera itself. Let's start by having a look at the physical device and everything that it's got on the case that you're going to interact with. Obviously we've got the camera itself at the top here. That's kind of the important bit of it, and of course it's on this gimbal. Along the front of the gimbal here you'll see it's got this neat little strip. That's the indicator lights, and they're going to show you what's happening while you're using the camera. Round the back here you've got the power button, of course, and a USB-C slot down here. On the side round here we've got a memory card slot, and that's a micro HDMI port. On the front again, under the logo here, you've got these 4 lights. There we go, 4 indicators there. That there is a set of battery indicators and bits and pieces. It's got a set of microphones in here. I'm not sure where they are. I think some of them are probably in the back of the camera and the side, and these little dots around the side of it. That's probably microphone ports. But you've also got this thing here, which is an external microphone port, so you can plug another microphone into this thing to get better quality sound. The sound internally in this works, but it's not the best. It's kind of reference audio kind of sound. And yeah, so that's the whole thing on the outside. Oh, one other thing. It's got a 1/4-25 port on the bottom, so you can mount this on a tripod or a well, anything that's got one of those on it. And there's this interesting little 8 contact port thing down here. Sorry, that's 8, no that's 10, I can't count. 10 contact port thing on the bottom here. I'm not sure what that's for. There's going to be other accessories that use that, obviously. I'm going to find out about those, and that's going to be another video, so we'll get into that later. Now, as with all these products, there's a nice little bit of paperwork in the box. I'll just tip all that out here. We have got a warranty policy, a guide for the cable. That's actually out of the other box. I just put it back into the wrong one. And a quick start guide here. The quick start guide is in all sorts of different languages, as we used to, and it just gives you a few neat things like a QR code to be able to get the supporting application that comes with it for your phone, and what all the indicator lights mean and stuff like that. I won't go through all of that at the moment because we're just having a quick first impressions and unboxing video, but all that sort of stuff that you're going to need to know before you get started, firmware updates, that sort of thing, it's all in here. Now, I said we'd have a quick look at this as well. This is the cable that they shipped me with it as well. It's a USB-C to Ethernet cable, and that's got a USB-C port on there as well. The camera is capable of talking over a network using NDI or a couple of other digital streaming protocols, and that means that you can hook a couple of these up or a few of these up in a venue and run some long distance network cable, or just put them over a network that you've got running and have them come in as NDI fixtures into something like the YOLO Box Pro or the YOLO Box Ultra. That's a really neat thing to be able to do, and we'll demonstrate that probably in another video when I'm looking at setup scenarios. I don't want to make this video too long, but that's a really cool device and really awesome use of modern technology to make these cameras even more useful than what they might originally seem to be. Okay, let's plug this thing in now, have a look at it and watch it go. Okay, I'm going to start here by putting an SD card into the slot. There's a lot of people seem to complain about this. All you need to do is get it on the tip of your fingernail, put it in, it's there. Get your fingernail in there again, give it a push, and it might take a couple of goes, and there it is, it comes out. I'm not having any trouble with that, so I think the people who are complaining about that are just kind of desperate to say one negative thing about it. It works perfectly fine for me, and I did just chew my fingernails off. Yeah, I know I should have cut them, but I chewed them. Okay, now I'm going to turn this on by pressing the power button on the back here. If you just press it once, it's going to show you the battery level, just so you can see the lights flashing there. If you hold it in for a few seconds, it'll do a count up, kind of like the DJI things do, and you've got your power on. There you go. Nice little blue Cylon kind of thing. Oh, there you go, that's right. It turns green like that when it's finished booting up. So now I'm going to take my HDMI micro cable, I'm going to plug it into here. I'm doing this early so that I can actually show you what the image looks like while I'm messing around with this thing. Okay, I will just point that at myself. I'm looking on my monitor at the moment. Okay, so that's looking at me. I'll switch to it, and this is what the image looks like. I haven't been very clever and set up terribly good lighting on myself from this angle, and one of the point I've got a horrible backlight, and it's just an awful angle anyway, but you can kind of see what the image quality is like. Actually, that's not fair, the image quality is a lot better than this normally. And at the moment, it's just doing its thing, sitting there idle, not tracing me around. Now, one of the awesome features of the OBSBOT Tail Air is it recognizes hand gestures, so you don't actually have to go and get an app to do a lot of the things that it can do. Let's get it tracking me for a starter. That sounds like a good idea. So here we are, I've got the camera pointed at me, and now what I can do is I want to set it up to track me, and I can just hold my hand up like this. I see the green light flash, it goes blue, and now I know that it's tracking me. So I can lean this way and it'll follow me. I can come over here, it'll follow me. I can turn around so it can't see me, and then when I turn back it reacquires me. And that's one of the really cool things with the AI chip in here, is it remembers what you look like, it remembers what it's tracking, and it will reacquire you. Now there's one thing here that I don't like, and that's not just with this camera, it's with all auto tracking. So if I stand up here for example, and then I sit down again, it's found my face, which is what it's set to track for, but as you can see here, it puts the face in the center of frame. And I'd just like to ask OBSBOT and anyone else who creates tracking cameras, if you give us the option of framing it so that, I'm just going to do this with my hand, so that the eye line is in the top, is on the top thirds line. See, it's gone back to put my eye in the middle of frame again. We really want the eye line to be in the top third line of frame, so you don't have all the sky above your head. I would like to say that that thirds thing is just something for me aesthetically, but it's much more than that. It's something that the video industry has trained people to become used to. So if you have a look at any film or TV program or anything, or any good YouTube video that feels more comfortable, you'll notice that we don't use the halfway lines, we like to use the thirds line, so across here and up here sort of thing. And it's just a much more comfortable thing to look at. So yeah, if you're making advancements onto this, the ability to track eyes on thirds would be absolutely brilliant. Make it configurable. Okay, let's have a look at a next thing here. Ah yes, other than the tracking, which I can turn off again just by holding my hand up, that's turned that off, I can also set it to record just by giving the OK symbol, and now it's recording. So the OBSBOT has started creating video on the memory in the camera. It's still of course coming out to the HDMI feed, and I can stop recording by giving it the OK symbol again, and the indicator light on the front tells me this is all happening. One other thing that you can do is there's a framing option. I think you can go like this. I've never actually tried this before, and that zooms in. That just worked. Okay, I'm very happy about that. So there you go, the OBSBOT tail air was that easy to set up. I've hooked it up to the ATEM Mini Extreme. I've never done it before, and it's all just worked perfectly well without any effort at all. If you imagine you're doing something like a cooking video or something in a workshop or an art video or something, and you're moving around a bit, this thing's going to be great because it can track you, can keep you in frame. I have no hesitation in saying that if you want a camera that's a great price, great quality, and is going to really help make your videos become more dynamic, the OBSBOT tail air is a really good candidate for that. It's got a Sony sensor in it, which is, I believe, I'm just looking at a spec sheet, so I'm cheating while I'm doing this. It's a 4K or 1080p sensor. If you're shooting at 4K, you can get 24 to 30 frames per second out of it. If you're shooting in HD, you can get 24 up to 60 frames per second, which is fantastic. And that's at 100 megabits per second H.264 or 80 megabits per second H.265. The aperture of the lens is an f1.8, and it's a 6-element lens, which is great with a focal length of 23mm. It's an 8 megapixel sensor, which means when you're shooting 1080 you can get a 4K zoom out of it, which is great. It's a digital zoom, not an optical zoom. Need to keep that in mind, but you can get that, and that's perfect for streaming. It's also great in low light, being f1.8, and can white balance anywhere from 2000 Kelvin up to 10,000 Kelvin. Hopefully you're not trying to shoot videos in that extreme type of light, but if you get stuck in it sometimes, hey, what are you going to do? Okay, so let's now grab a phone, and I'm going to load up the app on here, and I'll show you a few things you can do with the app, which opens up a lot more power of the gimbal and the tracing and everything as well. Now, as you can see, I'm here on my phone, and I'm going to launch OBSBOT Start. When this comes up, it's going to search for my camera. There you go, it's found it. So I'll click camera to launch it, and it brings up a video of me. You'll notice here that there's a couple of different things on the screen to start with. Around me, you've got this bit of box here. It's a red dotted box. Now, this is because we zoomed in before, and I couldn't figure out how to zoom out. And it's also got this preview image of me here, so if I click on that you can see the preview. That's real close, as you may have noticed. I'll just pan that up so it's not just seeing the bottom half of my face. I tap it again and that takes it to a preview, a little bit up in the corner you've got there. Now I can zoom out again by clicking on the crop tool thing here and making that larger. That zooms out, notice it transitions it, and then I can click the X to close that away again. Now that red dotted line is around the entire screen. So when you're using the tail air, what you're seeing in the view here is always going to be the entire sensor, and this here is actually what's being captured or broadcast. So this preview thing up the top that you can enlarge is what's being broadcast and all that sort of thing. One advantage of that is that if you do decide again to zoom it in a bit, which you can do like that, and you can resize that here, you can move that around and it will track around what it can see, and this is just something you can do digitally as well. And then zoom it back out again and close that, Bob's your auntie. That's just something quite interesting that you can do with it. There's a whole heap of different settings on here that you can use to do heaps of things. I'm not going to get into all of them. The basic stuff is you've got this little joystick thing here that you can use if you want to. There's that zoom thing I just showed you. All that sort of control is on here. It's going to be much easier if you grab this and you play with it yourself. That's the sort of thing that's going to be better to do. One thing that's interesting is the gimbal speed is adjustable. There's a lot of other settings you can set in here, like the frame rate, the ISO, all those usual sorts of video things. You can set it to go auto white balance, or you can set the white balance manually. Normally I like to set it manually at 5500 so that it doesn't come and trick me, but you know, there's daylight, that'll do. And that just makes sure that you're not going to get tripped up. All those sorts of things you're used to are in here. Neat that it does have thirds lines here as well, if you can see that. I'm not sure if I'll bring that up. It would just be great if it actually used those for the auto tracking. Rightio, that's all I really wanted to show you in the app. We can do a lot more on the app, and if you do want to see a lot more about the app, let me know and I will arrange more app stuff and make another video about it. The last feature I did want to show you in here, because it's, well, I just find it one that's fun and really shows how cool the AI thing is the ability to track specific objects. And that's something you can do in the app as well if you're using the app as a control surface. So I'll just quickly show you that one. So here I've got a little Lego toy, and here I've got the camera, and here I've got my phone. Now this is quite cool. What you can do is, I've zoomed in a little bit on the toy, you've got this box tool here, so I just click on that and it lets you draw a little box around a specific object. Now you see it's actually identified that object, the guy on the skateboard, the radio, and now what I can do is I can just push him along. It's going to track him. I can bring him back that way and it's going to track him. I can take him over here, it's going to track him, and I can push him closer and flip him all the way over here. That's pretty good tracking, I have to say. That's just neat fun, and it's something that you could use to help you make all sorts of videos where you want to track something. Maybe you're shooting a drone and you need to operate the drone and get the camera to follow it up into the air. If you're doing a drone example video for a tech thing or something, whatever you're doing, that sort of thing is really neat. I just like that feature of this, that it's not just faces or people it can track. You can give it any object to track it all, and it's also really good at reacquiring an object when it disappears off frame as well. So if, for example, you are tracing a drone and you fly it behind a tree trunk, it'll pick it up on the other side of the tree trunk and keep going. I'm going to go and try that in another video. I can't do it right now because it's really late at night and it will annoy people, and you shouldn't be flying drones in the dark. Anyway, I hope you found this useful and that you think this camera might be something that could help you in your filmmaking. I'll just turn that off by holding the button on the back again until it counts those down. Same sort of mechanism as DJI. Shuts down, boom, it's gone to sleep. Now I'm going to do the same thing. There's heaps of information down in the description below about where you can pick one of these up and some good specials that OBSBOT are offering because you watched my video. So yay for OBSBOT. And I will see you in another video about this. And I will see you in another video about this real soon. If you got any questions or anything, put them in the comment section down below. That's where I get ideas for new videos. So that's where you want to go and ask me things about this. And don't forget also to subscribe down here, watch this video, and watch this video. It might be one of the ones that you asked me to make. You never know. See you later.